Blade Runner 2049 is directed by Denis Villeneuve. It is the sequel to the beloved sci-fi classic Blade Runner. I watched the original Blade Runner for the first time a couple days ago, and I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good sci-fi film. I've just yet to fully appreciate it as the classic that everybody else does, because everyone says it takes multiple viewings to fully appreciate it. I just haven't got there yet with it, but it's still a good film though. So now we come to Blade Runner 2049, and do not worry, absolutely no spoilers in this video whatsoever. You need to experience this film with little knowledge as possible going in. All I knew about this film going in was what the trailer and the plot synopsis told me. Ryan Gosling plays a cop in Los Angeles. It's 30 years after the events of the original Blade Runner, and he comes across a mystery, and he's going to solve that mystery. And that's all I'm going to say. That is literally all you're getting from me. Right out of the gate, I'm just going to say this film mesmerised me. I was watching this film and I was just in a trance. Because usually when I watch some less good films, I get distracted by thinking about other things that might be coming up like later down the week or something, and I forget what's going on screen. Not with this film. This film just got my attention. I was in a trance. I mean, on the way home, on the bus home, I was just like, just thinking about the film, I was speechless. First off, the visuals. Oh my god, this is just one of the best looking films I've ever seen on the big screen. This is a visually outstanding film. I mean, even if you don't like the story, the characters, I really don't think you can say that this is a bad looking film. The cinematography, the camera work, the colour palettes, unbelievable. And the musical score once again was unbelievable. It has that sci-fi symphonic vibe to it, very similar to the original Blade Runner. It's very hypnotic, and it just builds up the atmosphere of this future so well. It's so bleak and grim and dirty, but in the really enthralling kind of way. But the big thing that did it for me though was the story. I was just so constantly engaged with this film, or just all the way through. 2 hours and 40 minutes this film is on for, and there will be some people who will find this film boring. Not me. I was not bored once throughout this film. I was constantly locked in, constantly involved with this story, and the film also just completely took me to school as well, because I thought I had something about this film figured out. I was sat there saying to myself, okay, come on, just tell me what I think I know about the film already, and then the film just told me something else, and I was like, oh, okay then, thanks for schooling me on that one, film. So I can't say Blade Runner 2049 is predictable. Now the next bit I'm going to say I'm most definitely going to be in the minority on, but just off first viewing for each film, I would say 2049 was better than the original Blade Runner. The story of this film, it had more meaning to it for me, because if you go back to the first Blade Runner, the story of that film is Deckard, he's a Blade Runner, and he has to hunt down and retire these replicants that have come back to Earth because they're illegal on Earth, and the replicants just want to get some life, and that's it. But the story of this film, again, no spoilers, there was just more consequences to the inner workings of it, and the story that eventually surfaces, it just had more meaning to it, and that's why I think at least it's better in a story department than the first Blade Runner. I kind of appreciate the first Blade Runner a bit more after seeing 2049, especially in one department. There's an aspect of the first Blade Runner that I didn't really care for, but in 2049 they expand on it, and I don't, again, no spoilers, but they expand upon it. And now I look back to the first one, and knowing what's going to happen with that element in 2049, it just gives it a lot more meaning. Like I said, there was just much more weight to it, and I cared about it a lot more. Whenever a sequel can do that with the original film, especially a beloved classic like Blade Runner, that has got to be high praise. In short, go watch Blade Runner 2049. It is an extremely well directed and a very, very, very well made sci-fi film with a satisfying narrative and good characters and good acting as well. I mean, Ryan Gosling is really great in the film. Harrison Ford was also really good. Surprisingly, he doesn't come into play until much later on in the film. 2049 was an excellent sci-fi film. It's another outstanding addition to Denis Villeneuve's filmography. I don't know how it's going to hold up on a rewatches though, just because of the length and that. I think it's because of the cinema experience. I might have been as locked in as I was, but still, I was locked in, and that's enough to get me to recommend you to watch this film. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Blade Runner 2049 and how does it compare to the original film for you? And if you want to see more of my stuff, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.